Well, welcome back. Of course, with a new year now underway, people all across the country are spending more time focusing on their health and their fitness, and a lot of people may not know where to start. So thank goodness we've got Dr. Dana Bittner here this morning to give us some fitness advice and why we should really be focusing maybe a little bit more on the weightlifting and a little less on the cardio. Good morning. Thank you for being here as always.
Good morning. Well, we have to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
And it's just crazy how muscle matters.
Yeah.
It really does. And I think, younger generations, they kind of get it more. They've maybe been in more sports training, but I see the women who need it the most right now just don't know as much as I want them to know.
Yeah, because it seems like you think, oh, I need to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to hop on the treadmill or on the elliptical. But it just seems like you could use your time maybe a little bit more wisely and actually less time just by lifting the weights instead.
Right. That's a good way to think about it. And again, we've got to start somewhere and how to be efficient. And of course, your goals matter. But what I want people to think about is that bigger picture and how it really does affect our longevity, our ability to be independent, our ability to fight infections. Like muscle mass is way more than just looking a little buff.
Yeah. Okay. So let's break it down a little bit. In the short term, if you increase your weightlifting, what does that do for your body?
It helps you reach your goal weight and maintain your goal weight by handling your glucose metabolism. Like muscle mass is this big organ that controls our energy flow.
Yeah.
And so it really does help with getting to that weight and maintaining the weight, but it also helps us not fall. It helps us not be afraid of falling. It reduces our risk of diabetes. It helps us have more energy. Probably one of the number one complaints people have coming into the office is, I just don't have energy. Lift weights.
Yeah. Well,
got to get muscle.
That's good to know because I've been a little tired lately, so I need to increase my lifting. Also, I saw better sleep. That could also be a benefit.
It's just amazing because again, when we lift weights, and it's just that sense of confidence, it's the exercise that it takes to get there, and just it all comes together.
Yeah. As we age, why is it even more important to have that muscle mass?
So there was a study done in 23 that put together a lot of prospective studies, and they watched what happened to people over time. And the people that passed away, they looked at their muscle mass and how did that relate to their risk of dying. And it really did affect mortality, your risk of dying. It affected rate of cancer and rate of respiratory illnesses. So we know that if a 70-year-old woman has muscle mass and she gets pneumonia, she's more likely to survive than a woman who gets pneumonia and doesn't have muscle mass.
Yeah, so many reasons why we need to be increasing and picking up those weights a lot more.
Exactly.
How does this apply to Jane?
So Jane was kind of bored with her treadmill workouts and really wanted to lose that 10 pounds. And I said, have you thought about weight training? And she said, well, I did it in the past, but I got sore and I didn't know what to do and I hurt myself and I just don't know what to do. And so, first of all, I talked about my favorite is the Peloton app. You don't have to have any of the equipment. It's amazing. And so we talked about that, but also maybe seeing a trainer even once every 2 weeks, just to get some basics and to be accountable. And so she was doing tennis, which is great for that zone 2 exercise, that cardiovascular, 2 hours a week is amazing. And I just said, could you add 20 minutes 3 times a week to some strength training? It could be Pilates, it could be bar class, it could be whatever. We've got to stress our muscles so they break down and build.
Yeah, 20 minutes 3 times a week. I think we can all fit that in.
I think so.
What is your takeaway tip for us?
Takeaway tip is just think about it and do it. Just how could you not want more muscle?
Yeah.
And it doesn't take as much as you think it might.
So many benefits, just a little bit of our time to do so. All right, Dr. Bittner, thank you so much for your time. 7:28 still ahead for you this morning. The future of tipped wages in our state on the line tomorrow in Lansing. We'll have more on the latest vote that's set to happen in a months-long saga and the impact it could have on workers.
Do you believe that all workers benefit when they have access to sick leave and when their wages go up?
Now in Fox 17 Morning News, one group believes that giving tipped workers minimum wage will help, while others say it will hurt their bottom line and cost customers more. We will look at the upcoming vote that could decide that debate.
And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers working to answer an in-depth question. Is Highland Harbor deep enough? The change that could come to the popular destination and what it would mean for locals.
And lighting up the sky to support the Detroit Lions. We'll show you how a West Michigan company pulled off these high-flying designs right across the border.
You're watching Fox 17 Morning News.
Well, good morning, everybody. Speaking of the Lions, got a question for you. So I'm going to be in Detroit Saturday night, now that we know that it's going to be, and you're the expert on the best Coney Island in Detroit, because it's a late night game. I figured either I'm going to need something that night or in the next morning.
Yeah.
And I need your expertise.
Well, you know, there's two places downtown. There's Lafayette Coney Island. There's American Coney Island. One is basically a dump, but it is a staple of Detroit, and they are right next to each other.
Sometimes those are the best places.
Absolutely. I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's not this elaborate fine china and everything else. It is. That's exactly what it is. But if you want one of the best hot fudge ice cream puffs, you got to go to National Coney Island up in Royal Oak.
Okay. So maybe a little bit of a drive, but that's okay.
Ruta, I think Ruta lives up that way. One of our old reporters, she would know. It's somewhere around 11 Mile and Woodward, 12 Mile and Woodward area. That's
I'm
Royal
take
Oak.
Notes because
so it depends what you're looking for. You want the Coney Island experience, it's got to be Lafayette or American Coney Island downtown.
I knew you would know.
Of course.
I'm Mr. Detroit guy. He's born and raised there.
And he knows everything. He even knows how cold it's going to be next week. A lot colder than what we have right now, if you can believe it.
Yeah. We're going to see the core of the Arctic air blast in here, and it's going to be even colder by the time we get into later Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Good morning, everybody. As we look out over the southern portion of Kent County down there in Wyoming here, this is the M6 corridor. You can see traffic moving pretty good. Camera shaking a little bit. There's a little bit of a breeze out there. We've had some light snow showers overnight. There might be a dusting where you live, but this continues to shrink in coverage, and that'll be the case over the next couple of hours here, leaving us with just some flurries. Here's a perfect example. That's why I show these loops, 2-hour loops. Look at how big that was, and now it continues to shrink. So today's going to be a day filled with mainly cloudy skies. Our temperatures right now in the upper teens to around the lower 20s. They're not going to move much. We'll get into the lower 20s, but the other part of that is our wind chill factor. It feels like it's in the single digits, and that's going to be with us all day. So your Wednesday planner throughout the day, mainly cloudy skies, a few lingering light snow showers or flurries for the next hour or two here, but that will diminish and high temperatures get up to about 22 degrees. That's going to feel balmy because by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're talking highs only in the single digits with wind chills well below zero. So just when you thought the Arctic air was here and it couldn't get any colder, I'm here to tell you, hang on. I'll show you exactly what that looks like with the infiltration of that Arctic air on our weather map coming in here, blasting in here for the weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes. It's 7:35. Let's check in with Andy now. I think he's out there in the Weather Warrior in around the Port Sheldon area.
Yeah, that's right, Kevin, and you can see on that map next to me where we've been going, taking kind of the loop west of 131, where usually we get some of the worst weather when it comes to winter blasts going through here. As you can see, though, from our rooftop camera on the Winter Weather Warrior, which is showing us clear roads, smooth sailing so far. I don't want to jinx it, but so far, so good. Driving conditions have really been pretty standard across the entire area we have been this morning. There have been a few accidents, though. We'll take a look at those here in a second. But right now, we're in the West Olive area, to be more specific, and roads are looking good. Traffic has been consistent, average speeds right where they should be. Things are so far so good this Wednesday morning. But taking a look at the traffic graphics, you can see a few hiccups in spots. More green than we saw yesterday, which is good. But if we zoom in here around the Comstock Park area, 96 both east and westbound, there was an accident here taken care of, but slowing down a little bit in some of the usual spots. That's probably not weather related, just typical traffic at this time of the day. We do have an accident here, crash at Jericho Avenue, and another one a little farther south, crash at Bradford Street. Again, you can see a few spots where it's red, M44, southbound traffic backing up a little bit. Now this area earlier today, we drove past this. There was a rollover accident, eastbound 96. Traffic looks like it's been moving faster than it was when we drove past. We saw the car on its hood. We saw the traffic backed up for a mile at least. Still a little touch and go. That red line there indicates that it is a parking lot in one spot, but outside of that, things look like they're improving. And again, bottom line, we're seeing it for ourselves out here in the Weather Warrior, and you can see it with the Weather Warrior camera that we got set on top of the roof of the Jeep here. Road conditions are looking good. From where we've been, the roads have been clear, traffic has been moving consistently, safely, and this is just another typical day here. At the moment, things could change any second, but as of right now, road conditions are looking good here in West Michigan, and that's your look at traffic.
7:36.
Want to give you a live look this morning from the first of 4 meetings from the Rapid about a potential adjustment to their fare cap prices. So here's what we know. The adult base fare is $175 a ride. That would not change. The change would be considered would increase the daily standard fare cap from $3.50 to a total of $5.25. It would also increase the adult monthly fare cap from $47 a month to $60. The Rapid saying no changes are being considered for the youth, the reduced ADA pass, and the paratransit service fares. In a release, the Rapid says this is its first fare capping adjustment in about 7 years. Public comment period, though, on those proposed changes has been open since December 20th. It closes Monday, January 20th. Today is the first of 4 public meetings, all taking place at the Rapid Information Center on Cesar Chavez Avenue. There is another meeting, though, this afternoon from 2:30 to 4. Tomorrow, there's also a meeting from 11 and then another one at 6 p.m. If you'd like to give feedback online, we do have that link on our website. It's fox17online.com.
The idea that $15 an hour is a livable wage for servers is a joke.
Tomorrow in Lansing, the House Select Committee on Protecting Michigan Employees and Small Businesses is set to vote on bills that would impact tipped wages and employee sick time. It comes after their first hearing yesterday, where they called on workers to testify about how the changes would impact them. Those laws would increase the minimum wage to $15 by 2028, and tipped workers would receive full minimum wage by 2030. Some workers and businesses are concerned that this might leave them with a smaller paycheck, as businesses will then have to increase prices to offset the difference.
We're upping the cost of their burger from $15 to $20, and then we're going to still expect them to tip on top of that when they already know that we're making what they call a livable wage.
Organization that brought forth that ballot measure in 2018, One Fair Wage, says keeping the law the same means employers would provide workers their wages, not customers.
Well, Sonora's Sun, Holland Harbor is a destination to so many of us here in West Michigan, and now there's some interest in deepening the water in the harbor. We're told the Army Corps of Engineers needs 2 things to make that happen, though: an authorization for the study before digging and, of course, funding. But there isn't really money for that project yet.
We have the authorization. Now we're looking for the appropriation or the funding, which is probably going to be a couple of years behind.
It might take a little more money on the front end, but the idea is to only do it if it saves money in the long run.
So why Holland Harbor? There's local interest along with some benefits to navigation and the economy. So if it moves forward, the Army Corps of Engineers plans to meet with the public, getting some input on how that project could impact locals. They say it'll be at least 3 years, though, before the actual project would start. So they're looking to secure funding now, targeting late 2026 or sometime in 2027 before anything would start.
When you get to make some of these iconic things that happen during the games and actually do it in the sky, that's something that we love doing. We love doing it for the fans. We love doing it for the Lions.
Back-to-back playoff appearances, back-to-back division titles, and drone shows in back-to-back years for Starlight Aerial Productions. That drone show company, it's based in West Michigan in Coloma.
This year, the Saturday show stretched across the Detroit River and launched out of Windsor, Canada, because Lions fans simply can't be contained to just one country.
The Detroit Lions gifted it to Windsor and said, "Here you go. Thank you for being our fans."
So Starlight Aerial Productions had to collaborate with North Star Drone Shows that's based in Ontario in order to fly in Canadian airspace. Show lasted for about 10 minutes and included lyrics from the Detroit Lions fight song, the Canadian and U.S. flags, and of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown's famous headstand celebration. We're seeing it everywhere right now.
It's iconic.
And don't forget, of course, the Lions are playing Saturday against the Washington Commanders, and you can watch the game right here on Fox 17. Pregame starts at 7:30, kickoff is at 8 p.m., and then stick around for the news after that when we recap the game and hopefully the victory.
It's getting exciting. We're getting close to it.
I know, and you're going to be in Detroit. You're really
there.
going to be feeling the excitement.
Yeah, so, well, hopefully.
Well, there's going to be excitement.
Yeah, either
hopefully
way.
There's before and after the game.
And the celebrations,
excitement.
yeah, be a good time. All right, 7:42, still ahead.
I'm John Matarese. You starting to worry about your home energy bills this winter? Well, we'll show you some simple ways to lower those bills and save.
And we want to see your Lions pride. Just take a picture of you or a loved one rocking some Honolulu blue. Email it to us at news at fox17online.com. I've said it all wrong all morning long. And it might actually appear in our show. So here's some of the pictures that we've gotten so far.